What's up, you beautiful bastards? Jackson here today with my little brother Chubbz.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're kicking off episode 1 of a new series we're calling Jax and Chubbz Recommend. This is basically, this is going to be is us talking about movie, television show, cartoon, YouTube channel. Basically what we find ourselves consuming as entertainment nowadays. And like most people, I think we consume entertainment much differently than we used to. It's almost all online through streaming services and things of that nature. And one of the big new hits or interesting things in that venue is Disney Plus, right? And we could do a whole just Jax and Chubbz recommend Disney Plus.
Right.
But we're just going to do Jax and Chubbz recommend The Mandalorian because it's only available on Disney Plus. And if you're a Star Wars fan, it's worth seeing.
Oh, yeah.
And even if you're not a Star Wars fan, it's worth seeing. So before we get into all of this, we're going to try to be as spoiler-free as possible while we're talking about this show. We're mainly going to be focusing in on what we like about it and basically giving you a summary of the plot thus far, because we're only on episode 6. There's still more to come. And so we just barely got done watching episode 6, and I was like, this is the first one we need to do of this. Yeah. Because there's so many interesting things that we're talking about while we're watching it. We're pausing it. We're talking about it. And not only that, they put Bill Burr in Star Wars, bro. Jon Favreau put Bill Burr in Star Wars.
We're not going to spoil.
I don't know if it was Jon Favreau. Yeah, we won't spoil his character or anything.
Fucking, when you watch it, you're just going to be like, if you're a Bill Burr fan.
Yes, and that's what I was, because I know I'm competitive. He's a regular viewer, regular commenter, and I know that he doesn't care for Bill Burr.
Right.
Which is fine. Everyone has their own taste. But I was thinking with Bill Burr, is that not a polarizing character? Even though I and you, we stopped and laughed and applauded like hell. Yes, they got Bill fucking Burr in the Star Wars. The fucking dude from Boston, the Goodwill Hunting guy.
The angry Ginge. We're like brothers, Bill.
Yeah, that's like your cousins, basically, Chubbz. The fucking inner rage. The fucking ulcers. You know Bill Burr has ulcers, bro.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing, we love Bill Burr, but I was thinking with that character, is that kind of, and I had to kind of be like, okay, if I didn't like Bill Burr, I don't know if this would be my favorite episode, but right now it's my favorite episode.
Right.
I've enjoyed the whole show, but today we're going to recommend that you watch it because it's worth watching. This isn't something that shits on the franchise or shits on the lore or shits all over the previous works. This is done by Jon Favreau, and in my opinion and my belief, Jon Favreau is a man who gives a shit, genuinely cares. When I watch Iron Man the movie, and it's a Tony Stark that's brought to life in a beautiful way by Robert Downey Jr., but you have to consider that without Jon Favreau, he's not in that part.
Right.
He's not in that part. He is not Tony fucking Stark. Jon Favreau had to go out on limbs.
Could you imagine a world we live in today
where
Robert Downey Jr. isn't a part of that universe?
And that tells you that there are people in Hollywood who genuinely care.
Yes.
Because he knew that would be, in my opinion, the Tony Stark that Robert Downey Jr. became wasn't so far from his character in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. With Val Kilmer, Shane Black directed it and wrote it. That movie is one of my favorite fucking movies. I picked that up for $11.99 at Blockbuster. Fucking watched it on repeat.
Still one of the greatest movies.
I love everything about it. It has some of the wittiest, funniest dialogue in the world. Val Kilmer is excellent
Blew
as
it out of the water.
Gay Perry.
All of them.
Robert Downey
Monaghan,
Jr. Yes,
is that her name?
Yeah, Michelle Monaghan, fucking gorgeous.
Yes.
But yes, so these characters, she was in that movie with fucking Ben Stiller too. She was stellar in that.
Yeah, fucking
the Farrelly brothers.
Kid.
Yeah, Heartbreak Kid. That one's
too.
funny too, dude. When she pees on his leg on the beach, dude. Oh my god. I love shit like that. Wacky, crazy, oh my god, 10th level.
It's just over the top.
Yeah, way over the top. I love that shit. Anyway, but Jon Favreau, recognized something in Robert Downey. And I think that what he recognized and wanted for Tony Stark came from Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, because his character in that is really witty, really smart, sarcastic, kind of a bastard in a way.
Well, that was also his more recent film, and if you look at the two characters, like you were saying, they are a lot similar.
Yes.
Which, like, Robert Downey Jr.'s earlier work, he really wasn't that character.
He does that deadpan sarcasm and so well. I mean, I think that, like, Ryan Reynolds is another great actor of this, where we're alive right now. I think he deserves a lot of fucking credit, because he can deliver that deadpan sarcasm.
Dude, that comedic delivery on Ryan Reynolds.
Like his role in Waiting. Like, people would say Deadpool, and Deadpool is an excellent film, don't get me wrong. I think his performance in Waiting is better.
Yes.
I truly feel like
his comedic timing has never been better than Waiting.
And it was so good with Justin Long as the foil to him, because Justin Long is also excellent. But we've digressed. There's people in Hollywood who give a shit.
They do care.
And there's really talented actors. And Robert Downey had a checkered past. He had a lot of fucking bad press and drug addictions and things like that, which who in the fuck can blame him? God forbid I was in my mid-20s, rich as fucking Hollywood, when I started doing drugs. Because when I started doing drugs, when we started doing drugs, we were broke as shit.
Yeah.
Right? And it was still a really hard thing to get off of with our limited means of getting the resources.
Let alone a mountain full of cash.
Yeah, most of ours was supplied by doctors, though, let's be real.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The majority of the drugs that we took during those
we were
years,
abusing.
They were given to us by doctors.
Oh, yeah.
It was
they
legit.
Were prescribed.
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, doctor said it's cool? Fucking take that heroin. That's all right.
Yeah.
Fuckers. Anyway, but like, Jon Favreau sees something in Robert Downey, needs him for the role, pushes him for the role. Then you move on past that to fucking Chef.
Yes.
I think Chef needs to be counted among one of the greatest movies done in recent memory. And it's about a food truck. Yeah. That a guy starts because he wants to have his own thing, because goddammit, who doesn't want to have their own thing? Who doesn't want to have to answer to someone who's dumber than them? Who is ignorant and hateful and just in charge because he's fucking the right person in the right fucking religion.
Yeah.
Or something of that nature. Right? Fill out X here.
Yes.
Right? But that's the thing about it. And so when that movie comes out and you see the passion, not only in the filmmaking and the shots and the care given to the characters and things of that nature, you also see that Jon Favreau takes this to the next level, and he's a foodie in real life. And he goes to these places, and he like trained with a legit chef to learn how to do that movie.
Yeah.
Right? Because he gives a shit.
He's passionate about the culinary arts.
Yes. And so that trail all the way leads back to The Mandalorian.
Yes.
And it's apparent from episode fucking 1 of this series that Jon Favreau is a man who gives a shit about the lore. And here's the thing about the lore involving this. I did some research on Mandalorians. My knowledge of Star Wars is limited to the OT, the prequels, these new abominations, what have you, and the fucking like a dozen or more games. There was the one on the N64, Shadows of the Empire. I've played a ton.
Had stories that existed.
There was like
the
Star
canon.
Killer one. I loved Star Killer. I think he was
I
think he was an interesting character. I liked the idea of it. It was correlating with like the Clone Wars, which I also watched a lot of. And in that, it's a big deal that like there's only meant to be 2, right? But at any given time, there's also Ventress. And it kind of explains that by she's not really a Sith. She doesn't get that honor. She gets some of that training and some of that, but she doesn't get the respect. Right. There's 2 right now, and that's Sidious and fucking Dooku.
Yeah.
Right? But she's like a little, and that's kind of what Starkiller was to Vader. He wasn't a full-blown Sith. You know what I mean?
He was just like somebody taught the way.
Yeah, and they had a light side ending and a dark side. The Force Unleashed is a fucking awesome game. If you haven't played that, go pick it up. And I've played the second Knights of the Old Republic. I was unable to play the first because I still can't get it running in 1080p, and I'm not a fucking computer genius, so I've not been able to figure that out. So that's our and what like that's essentially
That's
yours
about
as well.
mine, too.
You watched a lot of the Clone Wars with me.
And I've like read some of the expanded stuff, not like read the books or anything, but like I hear about this storyline and I'm like, oh, I'm curious what this is like. Where did this come from? And I find out it's from a book, and I'll like read the plot summary, and I'm like, oh, so Luke did have a kid, and like, okay, so
Yeah.
all right.
And
So,
you've told me all about that stuff too. Like you were the one who told me about what was his name? Sidious's master.
oh, Darth Plagueis.
Darth Plagueis. And
Yeah.
I when you were telling me about that, I was like, what? And then I mean he's mentioned in the
Right.
But like you were the one who told me about like his backstory, how he
Which
was
was,
figuring
like,
out
in the
like
comics.
and how he's the one who made Anakin. Like that's suggested, like it was a byproduct of him meddling with the Force
Because
and the Metachlorians.
because he's trying to figure out a way to become immortal, and the best way to do that is to create a clone. And so through midichlorians, he was actually able to create a vessel for which he would go into, which is the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
And there's something like when the body is damaged, he no longer wants that vessel, but that's why like all the Skywalkers are important, is because they're the vessels for this big badass Sith who taught Palpatine what he
And
knows.
Palpatine is trying to jack that.
Right, yeah.
And that's probably what's going to happen with the new movie. Let's be real, because they're doing damage control here, so I wouldn't be surprised if fan service was delivered up.
Yeah, and you
And
have...
let's face it, that's about the only goddamn thing that can save. Because here's, okay, back to the Mandalorian. Jon Favreau gives a shit.
Yes.
The design of this show, the characters involved,
the tone?
but it's become immediately apparent through watching the show, and if you've watched it, you're probably of the same mind. And just as a warning, we may fucking spoil something. I'm just going to try to do a summary. And that's obviously spoilers if you want to go into it absolutely dry, right? If you don't want to go in absolutely dry, here's a little loogie for you. Spoilers will be had. All right. So the plot summary is The Mandalorian, and I had to look this up. And I may butcher this because I just briefly read a wiki summary of some sort, right?
About the Mandalorian.
Yeah, because I
people.
just want a little knowledge into what I'm watching. And I feel like that's always been a problem. And it's never been more fucking apparent though than these new ones. Yeah. Like I don't give a fuck. Like there's genuine criticism, Mr. Plinkett on fucking prequels. There's genuine criticism that works and is 100% fucking valid when it comes to the prequels. But when you look at the prequels and all of the things that you wouldn't know if you hadn't digested any of the outside media at all, like Clone Wars cartoons, any of the fucking like expanded universe, the movie, the video games, whatever they had outside of that, I never touched any of it, right? At that point in time, I'm watching the Star Wars movies and I'm loving them, and then that's how and I digested the Phantom Menace. I caught at a young enough age. You caught at a young enough age, where like Jar Jar didn't bother me. I didn't particularly like him, but what stood out to me was like Darth Maul. What stood out to me was like Obi and Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
That Jedi relationship between master and apprentice. That back and forth, something we've never been able to see before.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I loved all of that. I loved seeing Emperor Palpatine slowly start to shift pieces on a chessboard to further his own end, and eventually, throughout the process, become the Emperor that we know in the OT, right? And I feel like there's genuine criticisms to have with midichlorians. There's genuine criticisms to have with fucking romance and things like that. There's genuine criticisms to be had throughout the prequels. But I caught it at a young enough age. I can still watch it now. Jar Jar, I don't hate him. I just kind of ignore him.
It's okay. Here's the thing about watching the very first one is we caught it at a young enough age that we enjoyed it. And it's like you said, we enjoyed it for those things. But as you get older, the flaws are really hard to look past.
Yes.
For example, Jar Jar isn't just the biggest problem. There's also the fucking kid who played Anakin.
Yeah, that kid's awful.
And I mean...
And you know what? I used to watch Jingle all the way when I was young. All the time.
Kid in it.
Yeah, all the time. And he played Arnie's kid. And I watched that not too long ago, probably about a year or two ago for Christmas. It was on and I watched it. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, dude, fuck this kid.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve that fucking toy. He's just like a whiny little bitch the whole time. Bitch. Like, I need that one, Daddy.
But I'll tell you
guess what? The time I wanted the Power Rangers player set, I got 2 fucking action figures instead. Sometimes you don't get what you want. But guess what? I played with the fucking 2 action figures, and I played with them, and I loved every single fucking moment of it. So don't you cry, you little fuck. You're in the happiest time of your life, and you're gonna cry because you want that one specific toy, and you're gonna send Arnold Schwarzenegger down a downward fucking spiral into this fucking madness-inducing world with midgets and fucking Santa hustlers. Because he's gotta get you your fucking toy. Arnie should have went home and backhanded the little fucker. Then maybe Lucas could have got a better performance out of him and found him. I'm sorry, bro.
Maybe.
I'm sorry. That was a
I
hell of a
loved your
tirade.
entire tirade right there about Jingle All the Way because it is such a horrible movie. And I remember loving it as a kid. Like, I'm talking about, like, that really, really young age. Like, I was, like, 7 years old.
To be fair, Sinbad is good in it, dude.
Yeah.
Sinbad is good in it.
And not only that,
Sinbad.
but his neighbor is also, what's his name? The guy who...
Phil fucking Hartman,
yeah,
dude.
Phil Hartman.
He's so rapey in that shit.
I don't care. There's that scene where he, like...
He is so rapey.
He's so funny.
He's like, yeah, he's great.
I remember watching it and thinking, this guy is funny as hell. Freaking, he gets the reindeer, and then later Arnold Schwarzenegger is getting the reindeer drunk.
He's totally trying to cuckold the Schwarzenegger. How crazy are you, Phil Hartman? Dude, let alone your choice in a wife, bro. Was that too soon?
No, to be fair, you probably watched this way more recently than me.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife, bro.
I don't even remember, like,
that was
the
what
key
it
plot
was.
points. I just remember that he was in it, and then watching it when I was a kid,
he's
it made
like,
me laugh.
oh yeah, because he's awesome in it. Oh, it's Phil Hartman, dude. Like, he's great. He's fucking great. He's seriously over there, like, he's trying to fuck her, and he answers the phone, and he, like, throws it in Arnold's face, like, I'm trying to fuck your wife, bitch. Like, it's that fucking blatant.
This is a movie made for little kids.
I was old enough at the time that I saw it, because you were way young.
I was
old enough. I understood that was the gist, but I didn't understand, like, these dark connotations that I'm watching later. I'm like, he's trying to fuck Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife.
When you're older.
Like, how crazy are you, Phil? Get the fuck out of that house.
When you're older and you watch some of those older movies, that shit really does come apparent. Those dark overtones that you're just like, whoa, this could easily be a horror. You know what I mean? Like,
some of them are.
Yeah.
If you really stop to think about it, look at what happened to Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger in that movie.
Yeah,
and it was because of that bratty little fuck that played Anakin in the Phantom Menace, dude.
But that's the thing, is like, that kid was a huge flaw in the movie, and there's all sorts of other flaws. But, like, one thing that people complain about, and real quick, I'm just gonna fucking throw this out there. I don't mind the midichlorians.
I don't either. I like them.
Yeah, people have issues with them. But then meanwhile,
I can understand the criticisms against them because
here's the thing. Look at it from a story-wise sense, okay? When the universe was created, there was this planet that was flowing with life, and it had, like, these spirit molecules, and then they branched out and created other life, and that's, like, why all life is connected throughout the universe in the Star Wars, and why the Jedi are able to tap into that, like, primordial energy.
Well, essentially what it is it's adding science to the fiction, and a little too much science for some people's taste, because not only was the OT, it's the Arthurian journey, and it's not only a sci-fi, it works so well because it's also a fantasy.
Right, and I totally understand
that's why I see that, but I don't have
the
a problem
Silmarillion, on the other hand, is kind of like the same sort of ordeal. Like, I felt like he just wanted to expand upon an idea to add more context to, like, the Jedi's rule and what they're doing in the prequels. I don't think
J.R.R. Tolkien ever intended the Silmarillion.
No.
George Lucas, this is what happened, and this is not something that is going to try to take any enjoyment from anything George Lucas has ever done. I'm just going to state facts about Hollywood and how it operates.
Right.
You have a man who is a god, at this point. And he's not only a god because of his own brilliance. Like, there's a whole team of people behind him that succeeded in ways that no one had succeeded before.
Right.
The special effects teams on this New Hope is fucking ridiculous, and it was almost a colossal failure. Lucas was over there in their faces yelling at them about this shit, right? So it's not to say that Lucas isn't talented or didn't have a brilliant idea. He had a very brilliant idea that no one man could have pulled off alone. With the technology available at the time, no one man could pull off alone. What he fucked up with in the new fucking, in the trilogy, this is my opinion.
Right.
Of where he fucked up. And it's apparent when you watch it. He fucked up because he took his vision and then he took everyone else's parts. Because he's a bigwig Hollywood dude, Lucasfilms Incorporated, he is the cock in the fucking room.
Right.
All right? He's giving orders. He's telling you what to do. He's George fucking Lucas.
He is 100% in
And this
charge.
is the problem, is these people are put in bubbles where they're surrounded by people, yes, man, yes, man, yes, man, yes, man, yes, man. Do whatever.
Right.
Look at Michael Jackson and what happened to him.
Exactly.
There was doctors coming to the house and no one knew this. No one in the family fucking knew that Michael was doing. It's like, look, you fuckers are responsible. Don't give a fuck. You're responsible for the controversy. Right? Everything involving Michael Jackson could have been halted if he was surrounded by better fucking people that could have checked his fucking attitude and would have. Because they weren't scared of losing the fucking money at the end of the day.
Yeah, upsetting this rich
He needed a fucking family.
Yeah.
Right? All the controversy, all that bullshit aside, let's just sum up the problem with Michael Jackson. He didn't have a fucking family.
No, he didn't have people that truly gave a shit.
Yes. And George Lucas needed someone to be there.
Right.
He needed to be clashing with people at the fucking...
And that may be true.
No, what I'm saying is he needed to be clashing with people in a special effects department.
Right.
Not these... He was just basically blue screen, and then he'd go and he'd order these people around. Mm-hmm. During this, he's out shooting, he's being a director and getting shots, and they're cobbling this thing together. And meanwhile, his special effects team is left to do what they do. And they have crafted special effects that stand up to today. That I think some shots visually are more impressive and gorgeous to me than any of these fucking grand blue hair bitches flying planes into fucking other planes. Any of this new shit that people say looks so good. I'm just like, fuck that, dude. Give me fucking Luke and Han fucking dogfighting fucking TIE fighters over this shit any day. Let me see those spaceship models, dude. That shit is legit as hell. Those guys they need credit, more credit than they get. There's the actors, the actresses, fucking everybody in this picture is part of this.
Yes.
And at this point in time, Lucas doesn't have that power.
At all.
He doesn't have that ego,
But that's the thing.
But by the time the prequels come around, he has that. So he has no one to check him, no one to be like, hold on, dude. Like, are you sure this kid is the right kid for the job? Are you sure that, like, Jar Jar Binks is a thing that needs to happen? Like, you know you're breaking, like, Roger Rabbit grounds of ridiculousness, but no charm.
Yeah.
Right? No charm. No humor. Nothing in this guy is funny, but it looks just as out of place. But that's a horrible example to compare it to Roger Rabbit, because that's great.
It's the thing is that's exactly true. Like, he needed those people who are like, I don't know, George, are you sure about George?
Yeah,
and that's 100% true.
He just had people like, look at fucking Crystal Skull, bro.
And that can be 100% true.
Look at Crystal Skull.
My whole thing before this, though, was like, I don't mind the midichlorians, and that's why I kind of compared it to the Silmarillion, because I just felt like he wanted to add more context to what the Jedi were doing, and he wanted to have clear-cut rules as to how they ran things. And so in order to do that...
I see that. And that's part of... That's what I'm... Okay, I totally agree with you.
You see what I mean?
But that's the thing. He also was the one who crafted an Obi-Wan and a Luke.
Exactly.
Right? So, like, that's what I'm saying. He's not completely out of his realm, but he tries to do it all, and he surrounds himself with people who are not going to object to any idea. Who are just like,
yeah. Give me my fucking paycheck, man. Give me my fucking paycheck, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah.
Because, and the thing is I don't think that... at any point, if anyone would have said something, like, who knows how Lucas would have handled it. I mean, he's over on A New Hope. He's over there.
He could be egotistical and
yeah,
blow
well, he's
up
over
and
there.
be like,
dude, he
fired!
was so stressed out and yelling at these dudes so hardcore that he had to fucking go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he had hypertension and shit. Making Star Wars A New Hope, dude. This is like the sort of project that comes from that sort of fucking hunger.
Right.
That drive to be like, this needs to get done and I'm going to do it well.
Yes.
And he just, it's like in Plinkett's review where he's talking about him just sitting in a chair. Mm-hmm. It's so true. Like, think about how that movie is. It's almost all blue screens. There's hardly any practical effects.
Yeah.
There's a few here and there intermixed. But the vast majority of effects in the prequels are all CGI.
Oh yeah.
And that's why even these new ones, there's a visual like pleasantry.
Yes.
That comes from looking at like
it's
the new BB-8 drone.
Visually,
like these things. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Like, visually, in The Last Jedi, I love the beginning scene where Poe Dameron, like, flips a 180 over that ship. And that, like, dude, that scene and how it's, like, shot. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude.
But, that's another thing why we had to recommend The Mandalorian, is because, as of, like, today, I can't believe that I'm actually recommending a Star Wars product.
Yeah, it's really good.
Because, like, these last two slew of movies, I would say that after The Force Awakens, I would still recommend it. You know?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'd recommend it.
I stand by that.
I'd say it's going to get your brain working and you're going to start coming up with crazy theories and none of them are going to be realized.
I wouldn't recommend it now.
No, but that's because the sequel, they were, dude.
And that's the trick about it.
And that's what's shitty.
That's what that J.J. Abrams does.
Yes.
And that's why I have, like, very little faith in this next one.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams, what he does so well is he inspires the audience to, like, basically
come up with things.
Yeah, dude.
And, like, leave loopholes and questions all over the place.
And it's all about keeping
like
the audience
interested. It's like
watching a game of fucking Clue.
Yeah, it's like walking in a kid's room and there's pieces of shit all over his room and you're like, JJ, I told you to clean this up, man. You got, like, 20 minutes left. What the fuck? Like... But that's the thing about Star Wars.
Because that's, you throw, what's his fucking name? Ryan Johnson. You throw him in the room and he's just hurling shit.
He is Charlie from fucking Sunny in Philadelphia. He's the wild card, bitches. He's cutting the brakes in the middle of the movie and saying, drive, motherfucker, we're going over a cliff.
He is 100% Charlie.
That is who Ryan Johnson is for the Star Wars franchise.
Oh, fuck. Dude, that is who he is.
Yep.
No ifs, ands, or buts. He is Charlie in that scene where he's like, wild card, bitches.
I snipped the brakes, and he jumps out of the van. Have fun!
J.J. Abrams' Dennis is like, oh fuck, we don't have brakes.
We gotta crash it into a tree if we want to live.
Stupid fucker, dude. That is exactly who he is, dude.
And Jon Favreau is the auto body repairman showing up on the side like, wow, how did this happen? So you let an asshole in your car, huh?
Let me fucking strap this up while run it back to the shop.
I'll have it fixed in like 10 episodes, alright?
It's that fucking easy, dude. And I'm gonna do it in a spaghetti western fashion.
That feels funny. Funnier than the new movies. Like, dude, oh my god.
He took that fucking bounty hunter and he was like, dude, you know who had bounty hunters? The Old West had bounty hunters. I'm gonna make this an Old West bounty hunter fucking picture.
Down
but
to
it's
the
gonna
music.
Be...
like,
it's so good.
It's a fucking bounty hunter. Alright.
I love it so much. I'm like, okay, so here's the thing. I remember way back when MTV had like this blowout hype party at Lucas Ranch. And like Seth Green was there, and I love Seth Green, fucking Robot Chicken, Dr. Evil, Scotty Evil, like he's great, dude. Mm-hmm. He is like barely in the Austin Powers movies, But his arc,
His
if you
character,
could just edit
the
just
things
his
he
character from the
says.
first to the second to the third, he's brilliant. If he's on screen, he's still in that scene.
Like, he has that scene where he's obviously pointing
Yeah.
out the dumbassedness of Dr. Evil's names.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you just call it fucking Project Ass Cream? Like, Preparation H? Fucking.
And he calls it the fucking Alan Parsons Project. Anyway.
Why don't you just call it Project Everybody Wang Chung tonight? Like, he's one guy who's got that perfect
Dude,
comic
when
delivery.
he's on the screen, he steals every scene in Austin Powers, dude. All three of them. He is amazing. To the end where he's like, becomes the son that Dr. Evil always wanted, but Dr. Evil's character arc has like this redemption where he's good now.
Because he ended up being Austin Powers' brother.
It's the most fucked up father-son relationship ever on screen, and I fucking love it, dude. Anyway, this is essentially a spaghetti western about a bounty hunting cowboy that is hired to kidnap a child.
Yeah.
And he goes to kidnap the child, and he gets the child, and he's hired by the Imperials, like a remnant of the Imperials. And the dude seems incredibly important that hires the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, fucking... I'm trying to get back on track, but I just fucking got lightheaded from that fucking wild card. Yeah, do it, dude. I can't do it right now.
So he's hired by the Imperials to kidnap this child, and he takes the child back to the Imperials, but he has this, like, redemption moment where he's like, no, fuck that. That's like an innocent kid, and fuck them. They're the Imperials. They, like, killed us.
And here's the thing where I did look up some stuff about the Mandalorians, and apparently they were wiped out by the Siths during the Old Republic.
Right.
So like those, I think it may have happened in BioWare's games or in a book related to BioWare's games. I'm not sure. But what evolved from that was the culture of the Mandalorians, who are in this described much like Spartans, like a warrior race. It's a religion to them. Like at one point he literally says that. He says, I can't put my gun down. You know that. It's part of my religion.
Yeah.
So this character, so what I did not know though, and I still haven't looked up, is I call it Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. Yeah.
And I think the reason this is happening is because there's this stubbornness in me that's like, I'm not going to fucking Google what that race is. I should know what that race is, and I don't recall it ever being fucking mentioned in anything I've played or seen on screen. I'm not gonna fucking do it. I just got done Googling Mandalorians. I'm not gonna Google baby fucking Yoda.
Yeah.
I fucking refuse. So I just put my foot in the sand because I know it's pissing a lot of people off. I see people at Austin's on Twitter like, but I'm not spreading memes of it. I'm just calling it a baby Yoda because it's that race. And
because Yoda is the only one that we can identify in the Star Wars.
And another thing I didn't want to get fan speculation and spam from fucking news sites that are just trying to put shit out there. I didn't want to see all that because I wanted to like digest the story as it's given to me. And from what I understand, from what I've seen, is Yoda was part of a very endangered species. A race of, because like there's him, and then there's the female one that we get a brief glimpse of during the celebration at the end of Phantom Menace at Naboo.
Right.
There's one sitting next to him, and there's this one in this one. And other than that, I can't think of any in anything I've played, read, or seen on TV.
Me either.
And, like I said, we're not digging through comics. We're not digging. And there may have been something in the Clone Wars later on. Mm-hmm. I'm only up to like season 3 in that. That's when I stopped watching.
Right.
So if it was in there, I forgot it straight up. Or I fell asleep during it. Because for some reason that show was super calming. And whenever I'd watch it, I'd just pass the fuck out.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's made for kids. It has it has like a chill nature to it, dude.
Well, now, from what I understand, that they've ended the Clone Wars arc. They started this new show called Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that.
The only thing that I've seen of that is like the showdown between Ahsoka Tano and Anakin when Anakin's in the Vader suit, and that shit looks interesting.
Oh yeah, because we never found out what happened with Ahsoka Tano, and I never looked that up.
No.
I'm one of those guys, like, I'm not gonna Google it because I want to fucking, I'll be like, I'll figure it out someday.
Yeah.
And if I die and I don't know, I'll be alright with that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, it's not
the end all be all of information
really
I need to know.
Yeah, it's not really that super important because she's not even mentioned in the prequels and she's not mentioned afterwards. So wherever her arc lies, it's literally in this offshoot kids show.
Because that's where she was spawned. They did like a movie first to introduce the series.
Yeah.
I liked the movie, I liked the series. I really did. I never finished it. Right. You know, I can't remember a huge amount of it, but I liked it. I enjoyed it when I watched it when I was younger. And the thing about that's why I didn't want to Google this.
Right.
Because I want to see if this can, so I know from what I know that this is a part of a very endangered species that's high in midichlorian counts because the only two we've ever seen were clearly Jedi. Mm-hmm. That I can remember seeing, they were Jedi.
Right.
So that means that this race of beings, and I assume that at some point they've been hunt down, and slaughtered by someone else or something like that had happened. I just assume that's what would happen since they are endangered.
Right.
Something had to happen to wipe them out. Possibly, maybe, who knows? Maybe one of them had super force powers and unaware and pulled the fucking moon into the earth.
Yeah.
Right? As a baby. Who knows? So, like, I don't know. And that's a cool fucking idea. And I like that idea. And that's why I don't Google shit. And the motherfucker's Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
All right? I'm just saying, dude. These people, dude, they hate it. They hate Baby Yoda.
They hate that term.
Yeah. Like, there's a huge subsect of the
I'm
internet.
sorry. The only goddamn alien that we've seen that looks like that race is named Yoda. And if you don't like it, then maybe you should come up with a better goddamn story.
Or Google it and tell us, because we ain't doing it. Our line's in the fucking sand.
Calling him Baby Yoda. I didn't even know that was a thing. Dude, that is so stupid that people hate that.
Chubbz doesn't fuck with social media.
Yeah, I don't fuck with any of that. I have no awareness that
Chubbz
people
doesn't
are
fuck with social media. He's pure.
Yeah,
dude.
that reaction
I only fuck
right
with
there.
Twitter, and I follow like 160 people or something like that. I mainly just know it because Austin shares dumb shit, and it's legitimately valid. Like, people are dumb, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's like, oh, what up, bro? I'm the Mandalorian. Close your eyes, Baby Yoda. And Baby Yoda closes his eyes, and then Mandalorian says, that's what my life's without you, bro.
Oh, my God.
That's the kind of shit people are doing. So
I
Austin's got
stay away
legit
from
valid,
that.
yeah. It's not that these people are like, it's legitimate, dude.
I just call
The internet's a hell of a fucking stupid place.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you hate me using the term Baby Yoda, well, I'm sorry.
That's why I'm over-explaining myself, because I don't want cool kids to hate me, because I'm still insecure on the inside. So it's kind of like, I gotta justify. No. Look, I don't know any other aliens of this race that are called anything but Yoda.
Exactly. That is why I call
That's
it Baby Yoda.
That's why the line's in the sand, dude.
And I'm not on social media, so my blowout right there was my legitimate reaction to people like complaining about the term Baby Yoda.
I love you. That's why I love you, dude. You're valid. I'm not saying you ain't valid. I'm saying the internet is a stupid place, and it's natural to get frustrated about it. Yes.
And that's why I quit going on.
But I just wanted to justify why I'm calling it Baby Yoda. I'm not one of the fucking stupid people making memes about Baby Yoda. I'm just an innocent person who was not given the fucking information I needed to know, and I'm too goddamn stubborn to Google it. I gotta let that be known.
If you've watched...
It's super important to me right now that you know I'm not sharing memes with the Mandalorian telling Baby Yoda to close his eyes.
I hate memes
Dude,
like that,
people are dumb, bro. He just retweeted and was like, I'm serious. These people are fucking stupid.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yes, I do too.
But that's the thing about...
Because it's just like, why did you take time to make
fucking... Anyway. So that's the thing about Baby Yoda and like the Mandalorian is Baby Yoda, he went to grab Baby Yoda back from the Empire, and now the rest of the story is just their wacky adventures together.
We skipped some. He was hired to kidnap him, and when he at this point, we were both
spoilers.
were like, yeah,
no spoilers.
But we were both like, no.
That's a good summary.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? That's a good summary. Yeah. Like, no spoilers.
How far into the video are we? Fuck that. Spoilers, guys. If they're here this long, they're our audience, and they love us, and they've seen it.
Let's just talk about the experience that the show offers and the tone throughout. Because I genuinely don't want to spoil this for anybody. I think that, like, people need to watch this. Like, if you like Star Wars, and you especially felt disappointed in these new movies.
That's true, man.
Like, that's why I say, I could not believe that in this day and age, after what they pumped out, that I would actually be recommending this show. That I would actually say that Disney Plus is worth it just for this show.
Dude.
And like, that is why.
Not alone, there's a lot of good shit on there.
Well, yeah, but
we'll work some of that in.
But there's a reason why Disney Plus launched with this on their launcher, exclusive leading up to the release of the new movie.
Because this is damage control.
Oh yeah,
and that's definitely part of the tone.
Is the damage control. We haven't really even noticed until episode 6.
No.
But like in episode...
No. I noticed from episode 1.
Right. But it wasn't like that blatant.
Oh, it wasn't blatant.
Until 6, where it's like, here's all these strings.
I thought like, okay, here's a super important looking Imperial person with a super important Imperial scientist.
Right.
And they've hired the Mandalorian to kidnap a Baby Yoda.
Yeah, and that's where you came up with your theory.
It's not really a great thinker.
It's true.
I really truly believe that most of the audience who aren't mouth-breathing fucking dumbasses are going to immediately pick up on that. That's why I was going to share it. But you're right. It is like it's
there, but it's like kind of like underneath the tone of the overall show, which is it's like a Western.
Yes.
And it even feels like that.
What I love is he's playing around with like parts of Star Wars that we've never seen.
Yes.
We've never seen certain things, and the big stuff, in the overproduced, like high-end stuff, and I'm not talking about video games, I'm talking like on screen.
Right.
Right? We haven't seen them play, I mean, and you could argue that the Clone Wars did, but there's aesthetically... This is like
animation
OT.
as opposed to like...
This feels OT to me. There's some episodes with like there's one in particular where it kind of breaks that, but it makes up for it in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So like, but most overall, it feels like that sort of aesthetic where it's downplayed. They're trying to make it as real as possible. And there are some throwbacks to things that gotta be CG.
Right.
But, you know, it's a cool throwback, and I fucking enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it did break that sort of feeling for me.
Right.
But the overwhelming opinion that I have, and the reason I would absolutely recommend this, is because going back to where the Yellow Brick Road began, Jon Favreau is a man who gives a shit. And that shines through in his work, and I think it is consistently shown through in his work. I think when he was on fucking Sopranos as a guest actor playing himself, interacting with Chrissy, that was all entertaining.
Awesome.
It was awesome because he gives a shit.
Mm-hmm.
He cares about the Sopranos. He's not going to go on there and just half-ass it.
No.
He's not going to go on there and act like a fucking clown. He's going to go on there and he's going to do a good job and he's going to make it interesting. He's going to be someone who's a good foil to fucking, I forget, Mark Prugliano?
The guy who plays Christopher
Moltisanti. I forget his name in real life. I apologize. It's been a long time since I've watched the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not really been in much. He was like Dwight's karate instructor.
Yeah.
I think it's in Prolio. I'm fucking it up. I apologize.
That sounds right.
I apologize.
We've seen...
It's Christopher Moltisanti.
Exactly.
No offense intended.
I'm sorry,
Don't take it personal, bro. Please.
We knew your name back when we were watching The Sopranos a lot, but ever since then we see in...
He's not ever gonna see this.
Yeah, fuck.
Why are we fucking apologizing to Chrissy? It's because he's threatening,
It's because I love Christopher
Have you
Moltisanti.
seen? I do too.
Dude,
He's
that
excellent.
character is my favorite in the show.
We want to pay respects, but we've got weak minds and long years behind us. So
yes. But anyway,
at the beginning of the Golden Brick Road,
Jon Favreau was coming on to save this, and it's so fitting that it's Jon Favreau.
It really is.
Like, a guy who has, I don't think, okay, well, I'm not sure of everything he's done. It's not like I'm out there freaking sniffing his ass, being like, you got another movie for me, bro?
He's
like,
we don't Google things,
all I'm
okay?
saying is every single movie
we
that
like to
I've
live
seen,
kind of a quaint existence, and we don't feel the need to know everything about anybody or any piece of property that we enjoy.
Yeah, but the thing about Jon Favreau is there is not a single movie of his that I've seen that I
you
haven't
know
liked.
of.
That I know of.
Yeah.
And I've seen Swingers, you know what I mean?
Swingers is great.
I've seen,
Remember Made?
Made
These are
too.
great fucking movies.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau is a legend.
And I'm not sure if he made this movie or if he just starred in it, but the breakup, like, I love him and Vince Vaughn.
I think he produced it, and he may have been a director on it or a co-writer. I'm not sure, but he's definitely intertwined with that.
But Vince
a
Vaughn,
lot of that
like,
is Vince Vaughn, though,
him
too.
and Vince Vaughn bouncing back
great.
and forth. I love those
They're
two
great.
guys. Like,
They're
when
great.
they play in something together.
And
then,
Ralphie, bro. Ralphie from A Christmas Story is
Yeah.
in that. He's a friend of theirs.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, Jon Favreau is a man who gives a shit,
he
dude.
cares, man.
Who else is giving Ralphie work, you fucking assholes in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Telling
Like,
Martin
come on.
Scorsese to get the hell out of there with his fucking movie, the co-written. Like, I don't even know if it's co-written, but for sure Robert De Niro was a huge influence on it.
Yeah.
He's got Al Pacino. He's like Joe Pesci. Martin Scorsese, get out of here. We don't want that
We
picture.
don't want that picture.
Mr.
Yeah.
Scorsese, no one wants to see that anymore.
Nobody wants to see
Fuck Hollywood,
Nobody
dude.
wants to see a realistic mobster movie.
No one wants historical factoids. Like, don't you know we're killing the past, Mr. Scorsese?
Yeah.
We don't need the past. It's irrelevant.
Except the past is where we learn from our mistakes.
And the past is where we get saved in this new trilogy.
Yes.
Because Jon Favreau has a respect and a love for the OT and the prequels, and it's made apparent throughout this whole thing. He has a love of Westerns. He has a love of, like, creating interesting worlds scene by scene. And in some sections of this show, nothing is said and nothing needs to be said.
At all.
You
and
get
the
things from it,
performances,
yes.
like, I want to just throw this out there. The Mandalorian, you never see his face. And it is like, he
has a character.
You can feel the emotions behind the mask.
You really can.
Just based off the tone of the music and the setup of certain elements.
And his stature.
Yeah.
Isn't the guy who played the prince and that got killed by the mountain?
His name is Pedro Pascal. That's who he played.
Yes.
He was the Dornish guy
who got killed by the mountain.
Yeah.
His stature and the way that he hunches his shoulders and, like, tightens his back and, like, cocks his head, he's putting across things. You're getting things from his performance.
Mm-hmm.
It's excellent, dude.
Oh yeah.
Definitely would recommend it.
Oh yeah, definitely recommend. Just based off the experience, the tone, where it's like, it's got comedy elements, which the new movies try to do, but for me it just kind of falls flat.
It doesn't work.
In this, there's actually comedic setups with payoffs. And not only that, but they put one of my favorite comedians in this show.
When Luke Skywalker, I just gotta say this, bro, because when you said that about the jokes, I immediately trailed in my mind and I had a gut ache. That moment when that fucking asshole made Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker take the fucking lightsaber that belonged to goddamn Anakin Skywalker, his father, and throw it over his shoulder off the cliff in order to get a cheap laugh from the moronic fucking audience that surrounded me. It makes me sick to my stomach still.
Like, that's not
Good
funny.
luck saving this fucking goddamn propaganda machine out to kill a fucking honorable character who only ever gave a shit about his family and his fucking friends. Fuck you. Kill the future if it's the future you're fucking putting out there. Fuck you. Sorry, dude. That's how fucking that
that's
joke
a perfect
takes
example.
me.
Is that
That's
was
where
something?
that joke. It makes me sick. To
No,
my stomach,
that's
dude.
like a perfect example of the comedy in the new movies being completely jarring. Like, context-wise, him doing that shouldn't make people laugh, especially if you've watched all of the movies. You don't have to, like, go into the expanded universe. Like, I never did. I never read any of the novels. I'm not out there buying Star Wars comics. I played a few games and I watched the movies. So my knowledge is like pretty much just what I've seen on the TV.
Yeah, me too, man.
And like
we've done some side research a little bit here and there.
But it's not like anything.
It's basically been trying to justify the existence of the last fucking Jedi, to be quite frank with you.
Yeah.
That movie was so unsettling that was when I finally broke my tradition of not seeking Google or wikis or anything like that, and I actually had to go look at this shit.
Right.
Because that movie is so goddamn perplexing in fucking nature.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, dude.
But that's The Last Jedi. And that's why that's why I said, like, I praise the humor in The Mandalorian, because Jon Favreau, he does this thing where his comedic setups are set up in such a way where it's not just humorous, but it's intelligent and witty.
Yes.
And it's like, it's not really just stupid
because
cheap
he's
gags.
a comic, man.
Yeah.
He made.
Exactly. Like that, I'm just gonna spoil this scene. The Bill Burr, I'm not a stormtrooper, asshole. Like, that scene, that line, how it's set up,
it's
and
so
everything
good.
is just like, that is a perfect example of the new humor in this Mandalorian actually, like, getting me laughing.
Dude, I applauded when Bill Burr walked on
dude.
Dude, I was like, dude.
One of my favorite comedians
like
is in this,
me,
man.
And I know it's weird that feels like a win for me, but I just feel like Bill Burr to me is a down-to-earth dude that I can relate to because we come from similar circumstances. And to see a guy like that who does love Star Wars, who grew up in a time where Star Wars, the OT, was relevant and in theaters and things, like, to see someone like that, I think he did. If I'm disrespecting you, Bill Burr, I apologize. But if fucking he was in the 70s. Like,
I'm sure that you watched him and you enjoyed him.
Yeah.
We haven't,
I know he likes
them.
He's talked about him in a few things that I've seen, podcasts and shit.
Right.
I had no idea he was going to be on this.
Yeah,
that's
why. It's because he's like a working guy. Like, he's out there, stand-up comic, working out.
Dude,
and, like, he's not really going to go out there and try to get in, like, a huge Hollywood production.
Yeah.
And like he might try, but it's not like he is going to do that because he is so successful with the comedian stuff and he's working on that with so much, and then his podcast. So like seeing him in something like this where it's not just like a big budget production with Jon Favreau behind it. It's Star Wars. It's like, whoa.
The only way I could have been happier is if Kev Smith walked out instead of Bobby.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that dude didn't do a great job.
Well,
dude,
even that moment, I thought that was cool. I was like, Bobby Elvis, cool.
But after I saw Bill Burr, I was in my mind, I was thinking, you know what would be dope is if Kev Smith was playing the shady over boss. That would be so funny.
That would be cool.
But Bobby was very excellent in it. Anyway, we're getting into spoilers.
But that's our experience and thoughts on the plot summary and what we've been getting out of it, the overall tone of the show, and why I think we both would recommend it.
I love it, man. It's like you cast this in the Old West with a fucking orphaned prince or something of that nature who's got separated from his family as like a oil tycoon's son. You interchange that in this and it works.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I love about it. I love Westerns, and I love the way that he's presenting this in such a way where like I say, you could interchange it. Right? You just change places and towns and things like that.
It's a completely unique experience. It's great. Especially it is unique. From the Star Wars franchise.
There's nothing ever been done like this within the Star Wars that I know of. Right, there was the Bounty Hunter game with Jango Fett. That was pretty interesting. I can't really.
We're talking about shows and movies, people.
Okay,
if you leave a comment saying a book did this, we didn't read it. Sorry.
Yeah, we went over that already when we said Baby Yoda. We're not googling it to find.
We're not reading novels.
If you can briefly tell us what the race is to Yoda without any other fucking information about anything, that would be great. Don't comment, well, actually, fucking in the 16th year of the 17th solstice.
On this planet, this alien species was birthed. And from them come Baby Yoda.
Because the great thing about Star Wars, man, is my imagination and being able to play around with it in my brain. And that's why we love this show, because you can tell that Jon Favreau did that a lot growing up. And he's created something here that's incredibly unique, and in my opinion, one of the best pieces of Star Wars content available today.
Right.
Right? And I haven't seen the new movie. We're probably not going to see it for many months. Many months, because we're not going to a fucking theater to deal with a fucking theater full of children and people screaming and blah blah blah.
And plus,
and I don't
we're
know,
not excited for it like other people are.
I went and saw the other one, and when they did that joke where he threw it over his head and everyone laughed, dude. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No.
Fuck.
That's why, like, we're excited to see it, but for completely different reasons than other people who are probably going to go see it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
We're excited to see how the fuck are you gonna dig yourself out of this hole, JJ.
But we'll wait until it's on Disney Plus probably.
Oh yeah, we'll wait.
Because what's the point in going to a theater to see it? Like, and we'll avoid spoilers because we're low key like that.
Oh yeah,
like,
we'll stay offline.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything about anything. We're not worried about it. We're not worried about, like, we didn't watch Endgame for fucking till it was on DVD.
Yeah, we stayed the hell out away from
spoilers. We never saw any spoilers.
Yeah, no.
I follow a very cool group of people. Like, there were things said, but you could tell they were jokes. Like, they weren't real.
Right.
And it's like, that's the thing I appreciate about Twitter. It wasn't like that on Facebook. Jesus, everyone's got to write a fucking novella when they do anything. Went and saw Star Wars. Let me plot summary and spoil every aspect of the fucking movie because my life is more important than yours.
It's legit. We were watching a video tonight of that streamer in the stream. He's just like, here, let me real quick drop a spoiler of the newest Star Wars.
That wasn't his fault though. That was a super chat message.
No, that's what I'm not talking about the streamer. I'm talking about that dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's that asshole. It's like, there's probably like a bunch of people watching this, so I'm
That's
just gonna
been out
spoil.
there, yeah. It's been out there.
Yeah, you know.
Anyway, we love this we love this show. We love Jon Favreau.
Would definitely recommend this, and it's definitely worth getting Disney Plus for. Go check it out. If you don't want to check it out, it might not be your cup of tea.
Yep.
You might not like Star Wars, and that's all right.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is just the first episode. We do this all the time. And obviously it's different because we're alone and we're talking to each other. We're not trying to fucking do as many little points and things like that.
Right.
But we do this all the time and we thought, dude, this is some good content. We're entertaining as fuck. I don't even care. I own it, dude. I've always been entertaining. That's why people always talk shit on us. You don't talk shit about the boring moron in the corner. You always talk shit on the fucking entertaining dude, right? That's whose name you want to put in your mouth. Anyway, that's the birth of this series, and that's the first one we'll do. And this is we're gonna try to do it weekly.
Right.
We got plenty of stuff we watch that we enjoy. And till next time, thanks for watching. I love you guys, man. Fucking 57 minutes in. People watch all of these, dude.
Yeah.
They stay to the end. How fucking cool are those people, dude?
They're fucking awesome.
I love you guys.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.